What's going on, guys? This is Revolution Ricky here at Casa de Revolution. Here to do another unboxing, or should I say, unwrapping video. Just got a delivery in the mail. I already opened it, but I didn't take the CDs out. Before I show you what I got, I would like to say to a viewer that I'm actually working on a gathering together some of my CDs and records by African American artists. I will be doing that within the next week or so. I just got to hunt up everything that I have. Just bear with me. I will be doing that within the next week or so and show you what I have on that. It's going to go through some genres that I hold dear. So just bear with me on it. Well, without further ado, I'm going to unwrap what I got. I'm just going to draw a CD from it. I don't care what. Let's see. Round and round it goes. Okay, we'll go with this one. Where to Bad English. Over the weekend, me and my wife, Jennifer, went and saw the I Want My 80s tour in Goshen, Mississippi at the Sound Amphitheater. It had a bunch of the 80s artists like John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, Wang Chung, John Waite, and headlining was Rick Springfield. John Waite came on and did songs from his Bad English days, his band prior to going solo, which was The Babies, and he did a couple songs from his solo career, which of course was Missing You. But my cousin Lori always raved about John Waite, loved the song Missing You. And when she was coming, her and her brother were coming and stay with us for a time back in the late 80s, she would go, and we had MTV on, and the video came on for either I Want to See You Smile or Forget Me Not. And she would go, "That's John Waite." And I would tell her, no, that can't be. John Waite was a solo artist. Well, lo and behold, she was right. And I picked this up because I really loved Bad English. In fact, I rave about the guitar work of Neil Schon because of his prior work. You know, he was in Santana for a time, and then him and Greg Rowley left Santana to form Journey, which Journey before they got famous was more or less a rock fusion band. They didn't really have much of a singer. I mean, Greg Rowley would sing. I think the singer from the first Vinnie Vincent Invasion album did vocals for him for a time, but they really never found a permanent vocalist until maybe Steve Perry came along. And then after Steve Perry left, there was Steve Jerry. There was the guy who is from the Philippines who now sings with the group, and he's phenomenal. Really didn't have, before all this, didn't really have much of a singer. But during the time that Steve Perry was in the band, Jonathan Cain replaced Greg Rowley, and after Journey went on a hiatus for a time, they formed Bad English with John Waite, him and Neil Schon. So, you know, it has all the good hits, you know. Of course, Forget Me Not, When I See You Smile, The Price of Love. I mean, this is a good album. And I got this on cassette somewhere, but I never take it out anymore and play it. Cassette probably don't work anyway, because, you know, cassettes have a lifespan. Plus, I don't have a cassette player except for this old Crosby radio I got. And I'm going to give this a listen to later. So, the debut album by Bad English. CD number 2. Let's just grab. Okay, let's see. Another John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Their follow-up, I guess, to Eddie and the Cruisers 2. This is Sound Waves. They had just released this year. In fact, it's not that old at all. It's been out a couple months. And John Cafferty did a couple, he opened the show on that I Want My 80s tour. He stopped and Gaucher with me and my wife went and saw him. He did all, of course, the famous songs like Tough All Over, On the Dark Side, of course, which is his big hit. CITY and Hearts of Fire from Rocky IV. Or is it Streets of Fire? Oh, I can't remember. It's probably Hearts of Fire. I wanted to get this one for a little while because I've always liked John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I always said that they needed to do more music. I always said that they needed to tour here because I never had seen them. And finally, it was a dream come true when I saw them in Gaucher with my wife. I raved about it, and I listened to all these bands growing up. Especially this one because, if you've seen the first Eddie and the Cruisers movie, their sound is kind of from the Jersey Shore, so to speak. Bruce Springsteen, of course, did all that music. I really love Bruce Springsteen. He's the boss. I really don't. His albums. I got the first 6 or 7 albums. I can't remember. On CD, which goes from Greetings from Asbury Park to Born in the USA. And individually, I got the Tunnel of Love album, which is my favorite Bruce Springsteen album of all time, because not one album of Bruce Springsteen's sounds the same. I mean, Tunnel of Love doesn't sound like Born in the USA. Born in the USA does not sound like Nebraska. He does a great genre of music that doesn't sound the same, and I don't mind it. I always wanted to see him live. I heard that club, and I think it's called the Stone Pony. I'm not real sure. In Jersey, they got their start there, where Bruce Springsteen would play. And like I said, I've always wanted to see Springsteen live. But I also wanted to see John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band live. They were one of my favorites growing up when I was in my teen years. But I've listened to them over the years. I love Eddie and the Cruisers 1 and 2. And this has always been high on my list of getting his material, getting all his albums, because it's straight up rock and roll. So I'm going to give this a listen to. I don't know much from it, so I'm going to give that a listen to. Sound Waves by John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Last but not least, the headliner of the I Want My 80s tour. Put on one hell of a performance. Me and my wife were impressed. I mean, me and my wife felt like we were, for a time, was 14 and 15 years old seeing these bands for the first time. The only problem was I'm a lot older. I'm in my 50s. I got back problems and hip problems and foot problems. eye problems too, hair problems too, you know. Uh, but you don't need to be, you can be any age to enjoy this music. Rick Springfield, the very best. This has all the good hits on there. Has Jesse's Girl, of course. I've Done Everything for You. Don't Talk to Strangers. Souls. Love Somebody. Human Touch. Affair of the Heart. Has all the great hits. And he did some of the, he did like a melody, a medley of some of the songs that we saw him do live this past weekend. My aunt loved Rick Springfield, of course, because he was from General Hospital. But before he became Dr. Noah Drake on General Hospital, he was performing music. He actually had a cartoon series out years in the 70s, and he would perform music on it. I wouldn't have known because I only watched maybe a couple episodes of that. So, Rick Springfield, I wanted to come up here and show these all off, give them a listen to, and hopefully listen to some good music. Well, this is Revolution Ricky signing off. Keep spinning those vinyls, that vinyl, and CDs. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.